said a million times that he has a resource that I work with, that this is a thought, like it's just going to be placed on YouTube. But you're getting hate because of who you play on YouTube. That right now, it's went way too far. I don't care what the reasoning is. Like, you know, okay, so I said that I first did not think it was an abuse-like situation, but again, that's because I've not seen the photos, and I haven't followed the story really far. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut, but people keep getting my inbox, and they're like, but you're not saying anything. You're in the community. People depend on your... I don't want in the middle of it, guys. I'm sorry, I don't think...
First things first. Menace to Sobriety was never charged with selling drugs to children. Probably demonetized. Probably just got hit for saying the D word. God, I hate this. YouTube nowadays. I am not going into detail on this accusation, especially after what just happened, like out on Twitter and shit. For the first time in a while, I decided that I would, like, you know, meme out on Twitter. So I spent the, like, morning, and I wasn't feeling that good, and I was just kind of waking up and getting to feel better and stuff. So I started to, you know, throw some stuff out on Twitter. Just whatever was trending and whatever was going on, whatever Menace was saying, whatever, like, popped up whenever I looked at my feed. And lo and behold, after a while, Menace gets accused of selling drugs to kids. I don't know if any of the peeps... oh, by the way, we've got the live stream pop-up room right here. I'd love for you guys to use it if you want to. We're gonna work on that sometime soon so that it'll be easier to submit things to. If anybody wants me to show something that was said about it, you could throw it in general, but I am gonna censor out the people that are saying it, because this is just vicious and disgusting. And I'm going to describe what's going on, because Menace plays video games on our channel a lot. And because he does, and because he hangs around here, because he plays video games with us, and Menace really tries not even to jump in when we're talking about stuff. So it just shows you how, if you are even within like an arm's length away of commentary, and just decide to go and, like, Navy, that's all Navy does. He'll jump in here and talk about what's going on. He doesn't play video games, but Menace comes in and plays video games, like competitive online video games. And just because he decides to do that, he gets accused of disgusting things, though it's not really shocking or surprising. When I started to commentate on certain things in the realm of the anti-KJP circle, but not the normal people out there, like the commentators. I'm talking the extremists of that community. They said that there was something they said that I was, some weird way of getting kicked out of the military that I was told doesn't even happen anymore. They don't even, that's not even a thing anymore. And they tried to claim, because they don't want you to think that the truth, which is I am a disabled veteran that gets paid every month for my disabilities in the line of duty, you know, go to the VA at least every 2 weeks, if not monthly on the least. And they don't want you to know that I deployed. They don't want you to know that I did that, because they have to build a type of character assassination and a type of caricature of people that criticize. Certain people do. And again, I'm not going to focus on those people, but I do want to talk about the way that information travels and gets spread around and gets perpetrated online, because that's more of what I've talked about the entirety of the time I've been on the platform. I've always covered propaganda, propagandistic tactics, misinformation, correcting that, debunking it. That's why I've always been considered a debunker, and I've always been like proud to be considered a debunker. I'm one of those types of debunkers, though. I don't attach myself to a specific community. I'll cover just about anything. Though when I do, it's about making sure that the misinformation, the lies, the BS that's put out is corrected, and you get an actual, I wouldn't say neutral, but I would say a more unbiased way of covering these specific stories. There's a story going on right now that has a lot of misinformation around it in the news media. And I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to go there on my channel, but it's, you know, I think a lot of people appreciate people that do that, who come in and say, like, you know, this is what one side's saying, here's what the other side's saying, and then here's the evidence, here's what actually happened, here's what we can prove or can show you. And you guys know that was my format the entire time I've been here. I try to show you both sides, then show you what actually is there, and then give my opinion. But in a lot of situations, my content involves me discussing how certain information travels around, is spread out there. And I do think that this whole thing that they're attempting to do now, which is Menace sold drugs to kids, which, isn't it strange they a certain little section always has to bring children into it? Isn't that fucking creepy, dude? Already having to do that. Oh, I'm not in the general room. I'll go to general. If you guys want me to show any of that, just let me know. And again, this isn't really about Menace as much, and it's not about the actual people making the accusation as much, because I'm not going to, you know, bring them into it. I'm not going to talk about them. Though I do want to tell you what they're saying, how they're saying it, and how they're trying to get other people to believe it, okay? Then, once they realized they were getting a pretty severe pushback, even from inside their own internal structure, against what they were doing, they realized how bad it was making them look and how people are fed up with this shit. Then they started to walk it back, they tried to throw each other under the bus and blame each other, and it was pretty hilarious. So I think I've got one of the tweets here at the bottom of the room. Let me see if I can show it to you. I am going to censor it first, so it'll take me a few seconds to pull it up once I pull it up. So give me a minute here. And it's not just this, okay? It's not just this. Like, I'm not showing you this because I think you should be outraged or care about this specific incident. I think you all, and most of you that watch me, I think already are there, but I think there are some people out there where you need to start actually maybe fact-checking some things before you believe it. And fact-checking is not going out and seeing if other people say it. And I think that's where the people that are doing this, they in their mind think that if they have several people saying a single lie, then for some reason when people go to check what's there, they're going to look at that and say, okay, now I believe it because multiple people said it. And thankfully, you're all smarter than that. And what this does show you is that they aren't getting away doing this stuff. Okay. You know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll show you Twitter. I'll show you Menace's Twitter, because Menace has it here, but I don't want to show you who's actually doing it. So that's going to be hard if I show you Menace's Twitter, right? Anyway, I just have to bite the bullet here and just go ahead. So let me just give you a little bit of an idea. He's, actually, no, let me go down, because he did a poll here. So here's what happened. They tried to say that, oh, here we go. They tried to say that Menace Every time something comes up about Menace, when they get mad at him, the first thing they do is say, Menace sold drugs to kids. And it's pretty funny, I think, because I don't want to say anybody believes them. I don't think anyone does. But they definitely are trying to troll. It's like their way of being like, oh yeah? Well, Menace sold drugs to kids, so you don't have to listen to him. You can't listen to what he says. Where, if you look at Menace's Twitter, all he does is post receipts. Like, that's all Menace does. He posts receipts and then talks about them a little bit. And I think people appreciate that, and that's why more people have been there's more eyes on Menace's Twitter right now. And if he puts a tweet out, you know, and it's not in a thread, if it's just a single tweet, he'll get a bunch of people talking about it below it, and it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting conversation, to be honest. Pretty interesting conversation. So let's see here. Actually, let me go ahead and grab this image and I'll censor it for you really quick, because I don't want to give them the attention that, you know, the reason they're doing this is they want attention, and they want people to believe them and think that Menace is this like horrible person because of what they're saying here. So let me go ahead and just censor this out. I should pull up Photoshop because it would be so much effing easier. Let me grab Photoshop. Photoshop is an excellent tool here, so we're gonna use it. Only takes a second to load. And if you want to support me at the end of the month, it would be massively helpful for you to consider paypal.me/UNIRock, liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. I don't think I said that yet, and I probably should if I want to keep doing this, right? All right, here we go. Now I can censor this much easier. So let me go ahead and censor it now using Photoshop, because Photoshop is so much easier to handle. All right, all I got to do is do that. Boink, boink, done. And then set the size there, and then I hit shift and it'll get it. There we go. All right. Looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good. All right. So, this is so bad. And let me grab this other one. They're trying to walk it back. They're trying to walk it back. But I want to show you something about how utterly dishonest they are. Okay, they have this set of rules that if you break, they'll scream and yell and flip out. And this is not just them, the specific people doing it. It is the people that support them and the other people in that community. And I think it's a good lesson. It's definitely a good lesson in misinformation, liars, propaganda. Basically, they are the insane CNN of this topic. When CNN is lying and just going absolutely insane with their narratives, that's what these guys are in this topic. Okay, here we go. So, also, I do think that this is a lot of stuff with Katie goes this way too. This is one way that they spread narratives about Katie. Now, I'm not a Katie supporter as much as that's another narrative they'll tell you. They'll tell you that I love Katie. I'm such a Katie supporter. Because they know that people don't like Katie. And just like how people don't like people selling drugs to kids, they want to lie about certain things. Really anything they can lie about in order to get you not to listen to someone who actually can criticize. Who can actually follow this stuff and criticize and do a good job with it so that you get it. All right, here we go. So after it came out that after they said it, so basically Menace had decided, since they were lying about a few things, to drop receipts to prove that they were lying. And it got so bad, if you haven't been on Twitter, it got so bad out there for a couple people whom I won't name because they're Omega trolls. They're jelly Omega trolls, and they want us to name them. But it got so bad for them, thanks to T-Spiracy being a frickin' OG and a literal, like, you know, just being a hardcore hero when it comes to this stuff. Because she's cleaning up the dirt that a lot of people just don't want to bother with because they don't want to give that attention. They don't, like, there's so much doxing and threatening and threats, if you know what I'm saying. People out there have called another YouTuber's landlord and tried to get him kicked out of his home, and then asked their audience to call the landlords in his town so that they could warn them that he'd be looking for a place. And they did it. It's so against YouTube terms of service that I can't even fathom that it happened without them losing their channel or their YouTube partnership or whatever. But they knew this and they deleted it as fast as they could. And there's also a lot of racism, really, really bad racism going on out there. And I would normally criticize it. I'd put it up on the screen, show you what happened and criticize it, criticize the doxing they're doing. But because everything that they're doing right now is in such a desperate, them so desperately clawing at trying to have viewers and get some money before they know the inevitable happens with YouTube and other platforms due to what they've done, it's not worth it, I think. I think the spread of misinformation and them lying, if we can kind of like show you the methods they use, and the one thing you can do across the board to instantly debunk them, to instantly shut down anyone, as I always say, when they lie and when they manipulate and when they're out there on YouTube doing this stuff, it's not disrespectful to the person they're lying on. It's not going to affect Menace at all. It's not going to affect Menace at all. They're doing it to affect you. You get me? They're doing it because they want their audience not to see the criticism that Menace is stating. So Menace isn't going to gain or lose anything due to them doing what they're doing. But the one thing that will happen is that their audience, those people, will be lied to. They'll be manipulated. It's a way for those people to not have to see the proof that Menace is putting out, because they know that if they see it, they're not going to keep donating to them. They're not going to keep supporting them. They're going to be mad they were used and lied to, right? PP says, buy some Red Bull. They are from my home country. Happy Thanksgiving. Excellent. And I love them. Happy Thanksgiving to you. You're too kind, and I appreciate you. And I will definitely, I'm out of Red Bull, so I definitely will, PP. I will. And if you don't like me calling you PP, I'm sorry. I just think it's funny. It's cute. It's cute. Okay, so as I stated, Menace put out proof on certain subjects that I don't even care to break down or whatever. They got mad and they got pissed because finally many people that are around them have been asking them why they've been lying thanks to Menace, because they know that the things they say about certain stuff right now are not true. They didn't happen the way they're saying it. They're taking something they originally said, waiting an amount of time so they can gaslight and lie about it. And then, I think that's PP's, right? Okay. And they want to take the... They need an amount of time to pass. If they're really desperate, it'll be a shorter amount of time. But if they think that... Or if it's a very severe thing, they might make it a longer amount of time. And then they then think that enough time's gone by, we can gaslight, and then they change what they're saying. So when Menace does that one thing, which is just fact-checking what's out there, asking, where did you get this information? If they don't come back and answer you, they don't have to do it right away, but if they can't, maybe they don't have time to actually go get a link or a screenshot and they need some time, but they, at the very least, could just tell you where it came from so that way you can make a judgment. And if they don't come back and hook you up, or if they ignore you, or if they keep going without, you know, fixing it, I really think people need to start choosing not to entertain that stuff, right? Anyway, though, it might take a little bit of extra time to do this stuff, but pulling the source means that you have already done that, and you are respecting the audience by already having the source there. And I know sometimes it's not possible, but if it's something like this, it should be. So anyway, Menace drops facts. Menace drops their own clips, their own words. They throw a hissy fit and immediately come back and start trolling in a group. So the first thing you have to really realize is that they were most likely all in a server talking to each other, and this happened, and then they all went out and perpetrated or started to troll the misinformation that Menace sold drugs to kids. So after they did the damage control, at one point they were like, hold on, I have screenshots. When their own audience started saying, when their own community started saying, this is really severe, so you're gonna have to show proof of this, they came back and said, well, I think it was them. You're gonna have to ask her. You're gonna have to ask him. So then people didn't just say, okay, they actually went and did it. And of course, the liar that they went to and asked had some things to say. So they said, I believe he has said that he has. So they came back saying, where is the source? Oh, I think it was Menace who said he sold drugs to kids. You keep track of that stuff more than me. I remember Menace saying he'd sold drugs to kids. This is just an absolute lie. Though, where did the original thing come from? Was it, maybe Menace didn't say it. Maybe Menace made a joke. Maybe Menace was, maybe one of us was making fun of Menace and said it as a stupid joke. No. Where did the original event come from? Them. It turns out the liar who he asks for verification went on the stream and lied for like 2 hours about me and Menace, saying that I was a minor and that Menace was selling drugs to me, the minor. And that was where this all started. So when that happened, after they did that, you know, whether they thought they were trolling or joking or something, they did that for about an hour or two. And at the very end, right before they ended the stream, they said, just kidding, and ended the stream. Okay? So this is why it's so funny that they would ever sue anyone for defamation. It's the most hypocritical thing they could ever do. But here's the deal, though. So now you know where the claim came from. It actually came from the liar that he asked for verification. So first instance of this entire thing, right there, just out of nowhere, just made up, invented. Bam. After time goes by, they repeat that, and it ends up turning into reality for them. This is actually the same way a lot of conspiracy theories start. It's the same way a lot of lies get mixed around about people out there on YouTube and other places, right? Because, you know, it wasn't that someone told a lie and then someone else was like, picked it up and carried it. They told the lie. They wanted the lie to be carried. It didn't get carried. So then they started to repeat it themselves. Got me? I just think this is hilarious. You got to see this. So first claim they make is it had to have been Menace that said that, or I don't know, I guess nobody would have ever said it, but it was Menace, he said it himself. Absolute lie, just not true. So then they came back and said, if I remember correctly, he has talked about it a few times. And they had the screenshots, but here's what I quickly grabbed. Then a little, hey, Stitchin', no, thank you. Thank you. Hey, and remember, if you do want to dono, while super chatting is awesome and I appreciate it, consider paypal.me/UNIRock. It's the end of the month. Just consider it. That's all I'm saying. But I appreciate the support so much. You're too kind. So if we look here, we need to like center in on this part. Actually, let me grab like a different color here. There we go. We'll get a nice bright green. So look at this. Right here, look at this. This little square right here, we gotta get to this. This is hilarious. So they make another conspiracy claim that Menace must have said it a few times. Then they grab screenshots. So when sharing the screenshot, this is how you know that they know they're lying. This is how you know that before they even share the screenshots, the source material that they say proves it, they lie. They are prepared. Okay? So right here, I think the to kids thing was never confirmed, but was an inference. I'm not sure though. These are just the recent ones. Got me? Now, if you look at what they share, it says right here, I never sold drugs to kids. Menace never said this. He never inferred this or implied this. He never got close to it. It never even was anything you could have taken from what he was saying. Okay? When they found out that Menace had admitted that he'd sold drugs before, they thought, ooh, we're going to character assassinate him as hard as we can and just try to spread it around. But it didn't work because so many people out there have been addicted in the past. So many people have faced that problem, right? You've felt the disease of addiction. And if you haven't, a family member has, or someone close to you has, that adults doing that with other adults, it doesn't carry the weight they wanted it to, right? You almost have to have a back and forth if you're using, right? So what does this mean? Is their point that anyone who's ever used drugs now all of a sudden is evil forever and the worst people in the world? And where does that line get drawn? So it didn't work for them. Now, if you want my opinion, you're an adult. You can do what you want. And I don't think that, just like I stated up to now, we all have had those kind of problems in our lives. So there really is nothing for them to use from Menace stating this. And basically, a lot of people were like, damn, we got that in common. Or they were happy he came out and was honest about it and just talked about his struggles with it and everything else. And it got better and is doing really good and like is basically, you know, good now. But again, focus in on this. The screenshots that they share is Menace correcting them from when they've been saying this before. And he says it never happened. Okay, great. Then you'd have to go further back to find the bit about minors. But when it came up like 3 or so months ago, I think, and then, of course, they know they're getting hit so hard. People are really mad about this. They're like, you can't do this to people. This is what you yell at Katie for. One of your friends is suing Katie, saying that you can't do this kind of stuff. It looks really bad. Then they do this. Though it might be scrubbed. Though it might be scrubbed. So they're trying to make sure that within their little cult, their little community, that while they'll say that if you lie like this about something this serious on them, you deserve to be sued and give them $50,000. And that's what they say. You become someone that needs to be attacked, doxxed, targeted, and just, you know, have what they've done to people happen for all that time. Though, if they do it to somebody, they can just create another lie to get them out of the original lie. It might have been scrubbed. So what they're saying is, he did say it, he must have deleted it, we don't have a screenshot of it, but they just said they had proof. They don't have a single bit of proof. They literally only have Menace stating what he originally stated, that he never sold drugs to kids. So, let me grab something else from Menace's, but I don't want to show anything. I want to censor it. Gabriel says, and good to see you, buddy. Damn. They said, Gabriel says they knew they couldn't frame Busy, so they did this. It's shameful. Well, the thing about framing Busy is you can't frame somebody who's literally done everything in the book. I want my Egyptian monolith back, Busy. I'm muting your mic until I get my monolith back. Stealing my damn Egyptian monolith like that. How rude. How rude. All right, let me grab another couple screenshots real quick. It'll just take a second. And I'm sorry, but the reason why it's going to take me just a second to grab them is because I'm not going to give these trolls any attention from, you know, give them any clicks and stuff. So I'm censoring it. Hold on. So just so that you're up to date, we've got now them saying that they believe that Menace sold to kids. That we've got them then saying that they have evidence to prove it. Then we have them running to grab the evidence that in the end wasn't evidence of him doing it. It was evidence of him not doing it. And then they tried to lie to everybody to make them think that Menace said it, but then scrubbed it. So as long as you're following. Oh my God, you've got to see this one. Hold on. We got to go back to the beginning. I forgot that it was this bad. Oh my God. This is the kind of thing where Menace could easily sue and win instantly. You think I'm joking? Okay. Well, let me show you this. I'm just censoring it real quick. I'm just censoring this one real quick. Now, I do also want to tell you, they like to tell a lot of lies about me. All the lies that they tell you about myself, all the things that they can't prove about me or anyone else, this is exactly what it is. This is them lying they go in Discord servers and they lie to each other and lie to each other about the people that they don't like. And then they repeat their own lies until in their mind, they've got evidence of it. And they really don't. So, continuing here with the very beautiful party music playing in the background. Sorry, I have to call you out on this one. Proof or it didn't happen. Without the proof, you are the same dealer selling to kids, just like Menace. So if he doesn't prove it, then basically he can't get mad if somebody says that he did that. But we already know he gets mad and they get mad if you say anything. So it doesn't stack. But right here, this is his response. So this is the response. I believe he has said that he has. So he's trying to say Menace has admitted it. Then he tags a liar and says, you keep track of that stuff more than me. I remember Menace saying he had sold them to kids. So he comes back and says, when a convicted drug dealer who has already been proven beyond all doubt lies with impunity is questioning my ethics, you know there's a major glitch in the matrix. So then a very entitled Karen who thinks that she's this master troll, but it's really just an entitled Karen, says, what kind of drugs are we talking about, though? And then he says, the kind he sold to kids. I like what T-Spiracy's been doing lately, and one point she's been making a lot is, what if Katie did this? And I think it's a good point. So let's just plug Katie into this, and then plug any of those people in as the person she's claiming sold drugs to kids. So then Katie gets up and says, when a drug dealer says things about me, here's a glitch in the matrix. Then an entitled Karen says, what kind of drugs? And then Katie says, the kind that he sold to kids. What would they do? What would they say? Well, they'd bug out. there'd be 100 videos done about it. It'd be a big hubbub. Then she'd respond and try to, like, explain what she was saying, and they would say, no, that's not what happened. She's just evil, or something. Though, as it continued on, hold up. Gotta make sure I don't grab the wrong stuff here. More convicted drug dealer stuff. Hold on, open the wrong one. There we go. You won't believe what their final proof is in the end. Their final proof. You know what? This one I think's good. This one's good. Okay, we'll stick with this one here. So as it all continued out, it got to a point where, of course, people demand the evidence. They don't provide it. When they don't provide it and they try to claim Menace just deleted it because it's true and they're not lying, you got to trust them. They know he's said this and they would never lie like that. Then, as more people come back and say, you said you had evidence. Where is it? They said this. And I want you to remember, this isn't the only thing. This is not the only thing they've done this. This is just about every claim they've made about me, Menace, or anyone else. But really, you could apply it all across YouTube. And the people that are affected are not the people that they're lying about. Because they're only lying about this to their whoever looks at them. And whoever watches them isn't really smart enough and isn't really on point enough. It's not going to matter to anyone else out there, the people that they're lying on. It's disrespectful to you. It's disrespectful to the people watching, the people that float by on the internet and just believe it and keep floating. Those are the people that they're trying to sell this lie to, because they want to make sure that if you ever stumble upon anything he's showing, which will prove that they are lying about whatever else, they want you to just click away. They want you to say, oh no, he sells drugs to kids. I'm not even going to look at what he says. You got to be really desperate to go this far, remember? Menace says, Cheshire, the links you dropped prove that I admitted to having a narcotic conviction. Steve really needs proof that I sold drugs to kids. That's the claim he's being held to task for right now. It's very serious. Come on, he really needs those receipts. She says, or someone else even says, so I believe he said it is your ironclad proof. Also, calling Cheshire in to provide the proof that doesn't exist. You made the claim. You should provide the proof. You failed. So, in fact, admitting you dealt to kids too. Or a public retraction and apology would be honorable. Hashtag fact. And what is the response from the cult? Bruh, I dropped you so many damn links, and this is the response. What a joke. So, again, they tell you something happened, like maybe they'll tell you I said something, Menace said something, someone else. They say they've got evidence, and they hope you'll just move right along. But if you do question it, they're going to drop you links and hope that you don't look at them. And if you do look at them, you're going to realize, oh shit, they're lying. And then you're going to say that to them, and they're going to come back and be like, what? Just keep looking at the links I gave you. And, you know, this is one person in this image, but there's a few others, and there's a lot of other people that were seeing this happen, and they're like, damn. But the funny thing is, though, that now there is no doubt that any of the other things you look at that's been out there applies in the same way. And one of the biggest complaints that I've made, and this isn't just about this little cult sect. It goes all the way up to people who make constant claims like maybe Katie's husband's a Satanist or whatever, right? You'll see that this will be the way it goes every single time. And you got to start saying to yourself, they have to know they're lying from the start. they know from the very beginning, and they put on that act and push it further. And it's even there, because when they first were questioned, their response we all saw was, well, I think he implied it. Then it turned into he must have. They tried to put it in your head that it must have been erased or whatever it may be. But luckily, now that it's been a little bit of time, and now that, you know, now that they don't have like a cult of people that actually listen to it and believe it, now when they do it, it's starting to compile and compile and compile. And that's what's led to this full like Twitter kerfluffle that's gone on lately. So I don't suggest that any of you that don't use Twitter go look at Twitter. That's the last thing I'm going to suggest. It is a cesspool. One of the main reasons is people that are being honest on Twitter will just throw out something and they'll give you a reaction or opinion. And the people that are trying to be dishonest on Twitter try to organize into groups, because they know that the way Twitter works, every person that replies is this big square. And so you've got to go by every reply in order to get through to maybe find something you want to see. So they try to manipulate the format of Twitter. And in the end, there are big groups, there are big campaigns that go by. They help them with this kind of stuff we're talking about here. So while I don't say you go out to Twitter, it is turned into a nuclear war zone. Not just because of this. This is just the example of how the majority of information that when they say that they're innocent, when they say that, I don't know, I could just apply their claims that, like, remember the whole secret evidence thing? Remember any other issue that involved people demanding evidence, but it never coming out? All of it kind of applies here. But one thing that's cool is the peeps have been responding to Menace's stuff, and it's hilarious. The memes are freaking awesome. I want to kind of show you some of them, but I want to check them first, because I don't want to show you, like, I don't know, anything that'll give too much attention. They also believe a rendition of Vince giving him to by Warden, and that's a good point. Awesome. Someone actually demanded proof. Exactly. Isn't that wonderful? It's such an awful claim to make about somebody. Could you imagine if somebody said that he sold drugs to kids? Exactly. In fact, I'm going to retweet that. What we see happen with Kay just passively agreeing to assertions that he was involved in that stuff. He won't stop hollering about being accused of crimes, but he doesn't have a problem accusing others. There it is. There it is. What have we talked about the last couple days? We talked about the K stream, where for some reason, Kay, Nat, Katie have that interaction that everybody should be really happy that we had the opportunity to see. Because, you know, some people will say, you should never have had that happen. You should have never let that happen. But in reality, by seeing it happen, people learn maybe a lot of people out there that didn't know who not to trust now knows who not to trust. And TT just slays it, because we really have had to deal for a few days with just absolute garbage, absolute screaming, yelling, kicking of feet. And it's been pretty boring, especially when we decided we were going to react to the K video and actually watch it and find where there are problems in the K video. Now, we only have like 38 minutes left in the K video that we have to watch. And that's 38 minutes of that whole video. So if the video has like a ending, or if people leave 20 minutes before the end of it or whatever, then what? There's only going to be 10, 20, 30 minutes left in that video, right? We went through that whole K video, and there was just a bunch of people out there saying that this was said and that was said and this was implied. K did this and Waxy did this. And unless they've done it in the end of that video, newsflash, they didn't, then that would mean Waxy and K were falsely accused of everything we've seen, screamed and read and lied about on them the last 3 or 4 days, 5 days, however long it's been. So it's a waste of time. It really boils down to being a waste of time. I could have played Tarkov for those few days instead of doing it, and it would have been more valuable, more like, you know, not waste of time than listening through all of it again. Not really. We did kind of see some things that I think were really interesting. They really kind of apply now. And the main thing that we noticed is that the accusation against Waxy and the accusation against K, and there's some people out there making a big fuss because I said critical K. I said critical K because I saw the clip of the people screaming saying it was critical K. So that's why I said that. But I'm just going to say K Baxter from now on to make sure I don't, you know, say the wrong person. I had assumed that K Baxter just called herself critical K. So anyway, the point though is it's not just in this situation. So how in the world do we really want to just keep wasting our time? Because look, we go through a story, like let's rewind back in time. Like, there's a little kerfluffle out there having to do with things that came out about I don't want to go there. And right now, I'll go there later. But some stuff that came out earlier on in the Toddy Westbrook lawsuit after Nat filed her declaration, or right when she was, right? There's kerfluffles around that. And instead of it being handled back then, even though we said, we did several streams and said, whoever wants to come on, whoever wants to like challenge any of the information, whoever wants to just put it out there, tweet it out there, say anything, we're giving you that opportunity. We saw the people that mattered in the story kind of making fun of the fact that we were trying to give a voice to people who might say, this part of the story's wrong, or I'm going to make this claim in the story, right? Which means they acknowledged that we offered them that time. And then all these months later, of course, you're going to get it brought up and someone's going to step up and say, that part of the story is not true. This part of the story is not true. So do you just go in and, I don't know, grab 20, 30, 40 viewers, go back and find the original streams, go through all the long streams, get to the point that's being screamed about, go in, look at where everything came from, go grab the source material, show it all over again, explain it all over again. I don't think I'm going to do that, honestly. I don't think I'm going to waste my time doing that, because all it does is kind of hook us back in to re-explaining something that you can just go and, if someone really did want to, like, maybe they didn't see certain material or don't know certain parts of the story, they could just go back and watch the streams. All the streams are there. They're all public and available. They're all able to be found. And I know it's not like easy or anything, and it sucks doing that, but I don't think that this story was important enough for me to go and do a live stream and then spend 4 hours clipping everything out and uploading clips of the whole thing. It just wasn't that important of a story, honestly. We're not doing these live streams, not these ones, but the ones we did, you know, looking into this to make it into edited content. We did those live streams so that, you know, while we're figuring things out and going through things, the people like out there like you guys who might want to know where we're at getting towards the end of the story can be involved with it. And so my point is, one of the main powers that conspiracy theorists have is gaslighting. And the way they gaslight, I think it might help if I break this down just a little bit again without getting too boring or rambly on it. It's Harley. I thought someone was banging on the wall. It's Harley's foot. He's scratching, and it's Harley's foot wonking the ground. Let me go into a little bit of how gaslighting works and why it's important to not allow someone to do that to you, because it's more of an advanced form of lying. People will say, but gaslighting is just lying. It really isn't, because there's a lot more manipulation involved in gaslighting. There's a lot more pressure involved in it, and there's a point to it. There's a reason why they go to the trouble of gaslighting instead of maybe just a tiny little lie here or there, so that they can get the result that they want to get. So, you know, it actually is foundational to most conspiracy theories. I'm going to show you why real quick with the billboard of doom. I'm going to use the real billboard of doom this time. You scratching hard, Harles? Is that what that noise was? Was that what that noise was, big guy? Come here. You scratching real hard up there? Scratching real hard, homeboy? Come here. Come on. So cute. Scratching hard, homeboy. He comes up to me and he puts his paws up on me like this, you know, digging at me. I could hear your foot thumping. You have an itchy... Were you itching? Let me scratch you. You be itchy, I'll be scratchy, okay? You be itchy and I'll be scratchy. Kick your foot. Kick your little dog foot. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, that's the spot. Oh, that's the spot. It makes my foot kick. It makes my foot kick. All right. I got you. When you see that happen on my green screen, that's his shadow. He's sitting in front of my light. He's sitting right. You can hang. You want to hang? You want to hang out here? Hello down there. Ow. Here, come on. Get on it. There you go. All right. Sorry about that. I have to appease my dog because if I don't, he'll get really, really upset. He gets really whiny if I don't give him the attention he wants. Gaslighting, why does it matter? It's pretty simple. I don't have to break this down for hours or anything like that. Oh, before we do that, let me explain to you what gaslighting is because it's being used right now by a road cow. All right. Disambiguation, thank you. Gaslighting is very manipulative from a base level. And you'll say, but lying is also very manipulative at the base level too. Sure, but lying's more of a casual thing. It can be. You gotta block the light, Harles. Why don't you lay on that pillow? You're blocking my light. Gaslighting is manipulative at the base level. And what I mean is, it takes more of a understanding of what's going on, a purposeful, most of the time, ignoring of the fact, right? They have to ignore when when something is happening and you see people rush out to bring something up. What is the difference between someone that's bringing it up to try to make a point or have something good happen? What's the difference between someone who's bringing it up just to virtue signal, lie, or whine? And that is that there is a resolution in the good side. The people that are bringing it up for a good reason or not just to get attention, make money, or whatever, there is a resolution. They know what the end is going to be. And that resolution, ending the issue, is the only good way to handle it. When you get people that run out there and they're just screaming their ass off and getting all mad about something and they don't have an end to the issue, that's when you'd say they are virtue signaling. That's when you would say that they're being more whiny, bitchy, SJWE, whatever it may be, right? Now, gaslighting implies that either it's an older topic that's now coming up or they've purposely ignored something that's happening because it's bad for them and they've given it time so that the memory, your memory, will start to cloud, other things will happen, and just the passing of time will aid, because their goal is to get you to misremember or to lie to you about the foundational reality of what's happening. And nothing is more beneficial to that than someone letting a lot of time go by, right? That it aids them in their goal of being able to take out a detail of what happened and try to slide another detail in so that you don't notice. Like, maybe they'll be talking about this big thing, but really they're lying about this little thing over here. And that's why they bring up the big thing and get all mad about it. They want to take out a piece of the story and replace it with something else. When I debunked PG, or the pizza conspiracy, a long, long time ago, one of the first people on the internet to actually be able to explain how you can fully debunk it. And it basically all was resting upon a tiny, tiny detail at the beginning of the story. But stop digging at the carpet. Stop doing that. So that little tiny detail at the beginning of the story, every one of these conspiracy theorists would talk about the story, but leave out bringing up that one piece. That piece, though, was foundational for them to be able to keep going and creating their theory. And so that's how they had to lie about that, so that they have the proof, if you will, even though they didn't have it, but to make you think they had the proof. And that way, if that one piece is the way they say it, their whole thing makes sense. Their whole thing is almost factual until you realize they lied about that one little piece. They did that by gaslighting. They did that by manipulation. Gaslighting is a form of ongoing emotional abuse that involves making somebody question their own reality. So the reason why the people do this, maybe they're mentally ill themselves, and maybe like in the Nat situation, if she really has been honest about some things that I know she's come out to admit she wasn't honest about now, and I'm only not getting specific due to YouTube terms of service. That's the only reason I would get specific, but I can't due to YouTube terms of service. That specific disability, mental disability, does involve gaslighting, but it's because the person's convinced that reality is different than what it actually was. It's a bit of psychosis mixed in. Though it is considered emotional abuse, though isn't lying to somebody a form of emotional abuse, especially if you're doing it to try and rip them off, get money out of them, or make them hate someone else? I mean, yeah, because, and it's because you're doing something messed up to someone while using that lie to do it. You have to get them to question reality. So what is reality in this context? The history, the memory, the past. They want you to question what happened in a situation so that they can lie to you and build a different reality. If I'm to do that with something that happened 4 hours ago, everybody out there is going to stand up and say, dude, you're bullshitting me. I just watched it happen. They're hoping that when they gaslight like this from back maybe X amount of time ago, though, that it actually, you'll have a hard time remembering. And because of that, they'll be able to just mix you up and get you to believe it. It commonly occurs in romantic relationships, but can occur in family relationships or friendships. It's often used incorrectly. The recent and excessive misuse of the word is following a path paved by words like psychopath and narcissist, which have definitions largely different from the sensational or hyperbolic way the words are used by some. The term gaslighting should be used in the context of manipulative and abusive close relationships. It's not appropriate to generalize the use in other contexts. In psychiatry and psychology, gaslighting is occasionally used in the article Gaslighting, a Marital Syndrome. We don't need this. In philosophy, there are individuals who cannot tolerate disagreement or criticism of their view of things from important individuals in their life. An effective way to neutralize the possibility of criticism is to undermine others' conception of themselves as an autonomous locus, don't they mean focus, of thought, judgment, and action. The effectively reduces the target's capacity to criticize or respond independently. So, one thing you got to remember in relation to gaslighting. Oh, and we don't need Joe Exotic yet. Not yet. Hold up. Sorry. I don't want Joe Exotic yet. Is let's use this example. Menace is accused of selling drugs to kids. Okay? I'm just going to say it. I was going to stop myself for the YouTube censor. It's not true, and evidence is demanded. At first, they tell a lie that they have proof. But when they're called upon that, okay, then show it, because this is serious. This is not something you can just go around and say this about somebody else for. It can really change the way people look at that person. And it can, that kind of thing can take off, right? And the gaslighting is when they call back to say, well, we might not have proof, but Menace is the one who said it a long time ago. He just must have deleted it, because now they want you to believe that the history of this event gives them permission or makes it okay that that's happened. And in reality, it's just not the case. They have rewritten or reconstructed the initial event to say, no, it was definitely him who said it, and we got it from him, and there's no way we're wrong. So what should have happened here? To end this out a little bit and to kind of move on, what should have happened to change this situation so that maybe there wouldn't be this giant accusation lobbed at someone for no fucking reason? Well, it's pretty simple. At this point, and this can still happen. In fact, before I even say this, I'm going to ask the peeps, did they apologize yet for saying that about Menace? Uh-oh. Navy, what do you got for me, bro? Jump down here if you want, man. It looks like the peeps have some stuff for us here. Oh, shit. You gotta be kidding me. Do I have to play it? Okay. You want me to play the clip? I'm gonna let the audience decide. Do you want me to play the clip? This poll is only gonna go up for like 30 seconds, so if you want to vote, you gotta vote. Gabriel comes in with the banger again. They don't have enough gas to burn off the small smell of bullcrap they left behind in the past years. How are they still a thing? They're not. It's kind of all caving in. But I wasn't gonna let them end their little reign of terror by convincing the entire internet. A lot of people have been paying attention to Menace. He's been getting a lot of subscribers and a lot of followers on Twitter. He's getting a lot of interaction with what he does. And there's a lot of like YouTubers that have been thanking him for providing evidence. He doesn't just provide evidence in this situation. This is just what he throws on Twitter. They want to act like if you tweet something out, then that equates to you being obsessed or some shit, because they're obsessed with their Twitter. But if you're not obsessed with Twitter, if Twitter's just a tiny little tool that you use, you know, you get what I'm saying? That's like saying you're obsessed with your bike because you use a damn screwdriver on the damn thing every day. I don't know. But anyway, we're ending the vote now. 93%. You did this. You did, not me. I don't want to hear it. I know someone's going to get mad at me for playing this from my side. I don't give a shit about them. You're the ones that wanted this. Let's play the clip right now.
Supposedly, like, Menace to Sobriety lives like 3 doors down from me, and I'm like, dude, if you're gonna come in and end me, just can you come and end my suffering?
Look,
you set a date.
That guy is straight up dangerous. I don't put anything past him. I mean, he's an ex-drug dealer.
I know. That's why I said
drug dealers to.
Okay. You did this, peeps. Oh, Navy, good to see you, buddy. Hey, noticed you were in here, man.
Hey, what's going on?
I didn't want to play him, but this is too crazy. We're gonna have to break our rule for the day and go ahead and play him. Because I just heard it, and I paused it right before he said it. It's bad. This is really
It's what
fucking
the peeps
bad.
want. It's what
they want, so I'm giving it to them. But listen to this. It's very bad. And when this person is suing another person for defamation, this is why everyone's so shocked. This is why we're also kind of like worried about it, because he's going to be utterly destroyed. His life's going to be ruined. And I'm glad. I'm glad Katie's going to have a $250,000 bill on his ass because of stuff like this.
Dangerous. I don't put anything past him. I mean, he's an ex-drug.
By the way, this is the same kind of shit he went around convincing everybody about me, Navy, and anyone else he could.
I know. That's why I said it.
Sold drugs to kids. Thinks that we're all in a cult. Thinks I'm.
You are in a cult. You're provably in a cult. If you don't want that to be true, then fix it. Start being honest with the people around you and showing them the evidence. Stop ignoring and blocking people because they show a clip of you lying, and apologize for it so that everybody will move on.
Something that I'm completely not. And dude is so emotionally invested in my social life is weird.
No, it's what you're publicly posting. Nobody gives a shit about you or your social life. You're publicly posting this stuff.
So yeah, I don't put anything past him.
All I was saying, I was just like, listen.
Anything. This is the same thing he did to Katie. And there are clips, unending tweets and posts of him doing this to Katie. This is completely different than criticizing somebody. This is actually why, when you look at the people around him, they also engage at the same time like this. All of it is intended upon taking a swath of people, even if it's just a kind of small pocket, and getting them to believe it and go out and repeat it in live chats, in comments, on tweets, and attack at someone because they're mad that they tweet out. Now, how I could go through this and literally just wreck him 8 times over, instead of doing it the long way and playing it all again, I'll just make one of the biggest points now. He's admitting he's obsessed with Katie. We don't agree with them, but we know that he feels this way. He had an Instagram page, Facebook page, Twitter page, and a YouTube page completely dedicated to Katie for a year and a half. That is his admission that he is obsessed, that he should be restrained, that he should be sued.
I'll just leave the dog here and I'll ask my roommates upstairs to look after him and be like, hey, listen, I gotta go meet this crazy guy on the internet at the park at midnight. Don't worry about it. I'll see you in a little bit. Then the dog is taken care of.
She thinks she's trolling Navy, right? Because Menace did this troll where he made a joke like, oh yeah, and I live like 3 doors down from Chesh. And isn't Canada bigger than the United States? He's not, he's as close to Chesh as any of us are in a different country. And she knows it. But this is just to demonize. This is because they don't want, like, if you see him pop up on Twitter, he's going to have a clip that proves they're lying. So the fact is that it's not the cult members in them. It's that when they go to other YouTube channels, when they go to these other places they've put up, people will believe it. I think that's the main
Menace can get out his baby rage and stab me or something. I don't care.
It's so funny.
And dude is so emotionally invested in my social life. I don't put anything past him. I mean, he's an ex-drug dealer.
I know. That's why
sold drugs to kids. Thinks that we're all in a cult.
Okay. You made me do it, peeps. You made me do it. How do you get away from that? Where's the outrage? Why? What is it? Because Menace doesn't have 100,000 subs, this is okay, right, Navy? Because that seems to be what this side of the internet thinks here. Why do you think they are hitting Menace? You think it's his Twitter, or do you think it's because he comes on the show and laughs at him? What's your opinion?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the majority of it is because today Steve was like ram-blasted by another person on Twitter talking about how, you know, they talk about proof and stuff all the time, and the person that drops proof is Menace. He doesn't drop like, 3-hour, lies and say you get to go watch it for yourself. Menace cuts things down, gives you exactly where, the person said what he was saying that they said. And he does it to Steve and Chesh all the time. And it just pisses them off because they're like, well, that's not true. And then they go out and say whatever they want and then get lambasted for having no proof of it. And they're just on a fit.
That's true. So that happened today. Also, the big, what are we going to call it? I was calling it the nuking of Boomerville 2021. But essentially, I don't want to go into the things that are happening that are connected to a certain troll on YouTube that doxes everybody because of how emotionally upset and triggered he is when someone criticizes him. But because he's been called out, not just by T-Spiracy, I mean, it's really, you kind of saw some of it. It's pretty bad out there, isn't it, Navy? It's pretty crazy.
Oh, and it just keeps getting worse. You know, that's what I love about
by the
these
minute.
chuckleheads. These chuckleheads, they sit there and they say something that gets them in hot water, and their response is to say even worse crap that gets them even into worse. Like they can't help themselves.
Well, where it's gone is kind of insane, because it's not just that they are going back and forth in some kind of YouTube battle. It's because they have dropped hard R N-bombs. So remember when that happened a while back? That happened again a lot, and accompanied by very racist statements, accompanied by doxing, accompanied by a call to action to dox that was accepted by the audience and then acted upon. And I don't know how YouTube isn't investigating that yet and starting to ban accounts that engaged, because they can go back and look in the live chat, and they can look at the video. The only thing I think that stopped it was them deleting the video, but there's been a big reaction on Twitter. And I needed to say this. I know some of my peeps are going to be mad that I brought this all up. And that's why we brought up the Menace thing too, because this is all connected. If you didn't know, probably didn't know because I hadn't said it yet. But the reason I'm bringing it up, as much as I told you we weren't going to today, is just because it's so big out there. Like, it's so crazy that it's the anti-KJ community, whom I'm trying to not call that anymore, but it's hard. If I don't call them that, you're not going to know I'm talking about them. The old school anti-KJ community is the ones that stood up and did this. They stood up, they pushed back, they grabbed clips. A lot of them started doing what Menace does and just making sure that they've recorded it live, because they know that it's going to be deleted. And the only thing left to do now is to get those clips up there, tag team YouTube with all of that, and show them so that because YouTube can look at deleted videos. Like YouTube can go in, you can delete it off your channel, it's still on the YouTube servers, it just, you're not going to see it. It's going to take an employee of YouTube to actually see it. But with something this severe happening, them doxing some, I don't even like them. I don't even like the person who got doxed, but I don't give a shit who it is. It's wrong. And it's all just done over YouTube stuff. Now, not only that, but just a couple hours ago, they started to threaten again and claim that it's going to get even worse. And I don't know how. The only thing left that would even be able to... This is the kind of messed up thing, because if you realistically say to yourself, how can it get any worse? The only thing left for any of them to do is to go try to meet up and kill each other, fight each other. I don't know. Physical stuff is the only thing left. They've gone as absolutely as far as humanly possible that you can go on the internet in a back and forth. And Gabriel... you give him too much credit. The guy's a meme. Oh, no, he is. Trust me. I know I am. I know. It's just funny. I'm not talking about him right now, though. I don't want to say the name of the person I'm talking about, because one of the main reasons why channels like this do the majority of the things they do, at first, they just try to lie about you. And they'll just go out and purposely do that, hoping that they can trick whatever other creator, like a bigger content creator or someone with more subs than them. They want to trick them, or they just want to get them for whatever reason to mention them. And then for some reason, that's like a badge of honor. So I try not to bring them up. I'll bring them up in a descriptive way like I am now, and without mentioning them, but that's what they want. And so I decided when they started to target me that way, I'm just not going to, go into it here. Make sure that that doesn't happen. But, it's almost like you don't want to cover certain stories until you know, that story, a Gabby Petito situation happens, right? Like, I don't want to cover Brian Laundrie, a disgusting woman beating, you know, soy boy. But once he murders Gabby, you're going to cover it because it's just an exceptional story at that point. Here on YouTube, between the back and forth that can be possible between creators, it's gone as far as it can possibly go now. So we're kind of just sitting back and waiting to see what the next big evolution is going to be. How do you go to, and by the way, this isn't some accusation of racism. If what was said isn't racist, then nothing could ever be. Most racist stuff you ever heard, followed by the N-word with the hard R, followed by just constant threats, followed by doxings, followed by a call to action to a group of people to dox. This literally went from 0 to 100 in 2 days. So it's more of an I told you so also, because the people that support this garbage are people that are just as bad as them. They're people that are like, you know what? I'd get up there and do that, but since he's doing it, let's just, you know, help out. So these are the communities that YouTube's terms of service actively prevent and fight against. So like if YouTube would have been operating as intended, it wouldn't have even ever been able to get this far. But something that can't be argued, no matter how you split it, is it just is anti-TOS. There's no way around it. There's no way to say, well, it's okay if he did it because of that, or maybe he did it because of that, or maybe he was just angry. What? You shouldn't be just angry like that on your channel. You should be like shutting it down, you know, going and taking a break, sitting down, maybe like having calling your therapist or something, or talking to your mom, having her calm you down, like get your cookie or your brownie and sit down for a little bit and you know, get a timeout. But it's gone so far, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the next step, that they, you know what, there'll be two next steps. It's either one, they're just going to go like stalk the person down in real life, or they'll end up getting one of their audience members to do it, because maybe they'll end up like finding an audience member of theirs that's closer and stuff like that, and just say, hey, you're close, go do this. So yeah. And you guys recall that they tried to do that to me long ago, with the entire like taking pictures and shit like that, and trying to sit at the vape store and waiting for Uni to walk in so they can take pictures of him and shit. They all did that to me long ago too. So this is just another circle. It's just another cyclical operation. It's just another like loop-de-loop in time. You know what I'm saying? It's just how this shit operates when you're dealing with an internet tough guy locale. It's why they are a locale. And you give them the warnings. You're like, look, you don't want to go full locale. Just don't go real life. You know, don't sit there and allow your emotions or how angry you are factor into what you're doing. And then you won't have that kind of locale response. You won't have a potential for you, because everybody gets angry. But the point is, when you start to get that way, you're not in control of your live stream. You're not in control of yourself. Get off the damn in the stream. Maybe do an upload. Maybe do something a little bit different, right? Jesus, man, I really feel, Navy, that we're going to be reporting like, you know, something really bad here in the next week, because it's like 4 different locale communities all of a sudden destructed all at once, you know. And the cool thing is the anti-KJs actually showed that they're, you know, they showed they're willing to stand up and fucking take care of business. So now I have to bring it up, just to be able to say that, just so you guys know. Because I said, when I would criticize the anti-KJs and say they don't call out their own, that's not true anymore. And I have to give them credit. And that's the main reason why I'm bringing all this up today. They, you know, I'm not going to rob them of me giving them that credit after I bitched about it for a few times, just because I told you we weren't going to talk about that kind of thing tonight. So just to make sure it's out there. Fucking awesome, man. I think it is really awesome, bro. Like, it's really tight that some of the anti-KJs stepped up and pulled through, you know?
Well, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Even if you're someone you don't necessarily agree with all the time on all things, when they do, you know, what matches with what a normal person would do as far as the interactions and stuff, and not what like the Silverfish cult does, where they ignore evidence and they don't call anybody out and they just kind of like play it off as if it's not real, or it's not the way it was or whatever. When someone even that you don't agree with does that, you have to give credit where credit is due.
Very true. Very true. Conspiracy's just been knocking it out of the park, and you know, Julie Virgo and other people are. The sucky thing about it, they are getting a lot of harassment though, and I'm kind of waiting to see if that matters. Not to them. I know it matters to them now, but the people that are out there that they're doing this, their main thing, of course, as we've seen across the board, and it's pretty boring, but still, their main thing is to yell at Katie. That's where they've gotten their subs from and how they've done their stuff, you know. They yell at Katie and say that, I mean, I've seen a couple clips where they're just sitting there screaming, "How do you do this, Katie?" And they call her a bitch 916 times and just all that stuff. So you can't really yell at Katie anymore. T-Spiracy was making that really good point, you know. What if Katie would have done this? And I mean, shit, man. It'd be big.
Yeah, no, it'd be huge. And so you have to make sure that you're giving the equal amount of criticism to all parties that act in a manner that you don't agree with.
Well, I'm going to go take a look and see if anything else is popping off. I'll take a look at Twitter. I want to draw a busy first. I do kind of want to draw a busy before I do that. What the hell, dude? Hey, I fixed it. All right. All other, it goes to monitor 1, and then I need to add Microsoft Whiteboard. I want to draw a busy with my pen.
Okay.
For some reason, no, not runtime broker. What? It's not letting me click it, so fuck it. All right, that'll work. That'll do, pig. What's that from? Where dude says that'll do, pig.
Is it Charlotte's Web?
No.
Gabriel's good night, Gabriel.
Oh, Gabriel taking off. Hey, later, bro. It wasn't Charlotte's Web. It was like a Family Guy or something, or I don't know, South Park. That'll do, pig. Somebody in the audience has to know.
Kelly
No.
said it's Babe.
Nah, it might be, but they make fun of it on a different show, like a cartoon. Oh well.
Oh, that had to be Family Guy. It was Family Guy. They were on a farm. Yeah, remember.
Yeah, something like that. I need to know how to draw Busy's mouth when he's passed out from a bender. So Busy's passed out, and he's just gotten mad at someone on the internet and drove his semi-truck to their trailer park, and they ended up hitting him over the head with the 2x4, and I need to draw the 2x4, and there we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now I need a 2x4.
I told him to be careful, but he don't listen to me for nothing.
He doesn't take advice. There we go.
Hates says they actually say it in Zombieland as well.
Zombieland. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from. You're right. You're right. That'll do, pig. That'll do, peg. I want to say peg. That's a really horrible busy. That's just not a good busy. Okay, let's head to Twitter. And we'll see what we can find out here. Because I just kind of want to chill. You know what? No, let's do something else first. I want to do one thing first, and then we'll let you guys pick the topic. But I kind of want you to like tell me if you've seen anything out there worth talking about when we do that. Oh, I was looking at this too. What is All Things Sassy talking about right here? Let's take a listen.
It's just who he plays on YouTube. But you're getting hate because of who you play on YouTube. That right now, it's went way too far. I don't care what the reasoning is. Like, you know, okay, so I said that I first did not think it was an abuse type situation. But again, that's because I've not seen the photos and I haven't followed the story really far.
What are we talking about? What is Sassy
Maybe I
talking
should have kept
about?
my mouth shut, but people keep hitting my inbox and they're like, but you're not saying anything and you're in the community and people depend on your... I don't want in the middle of it,
All things
guys.
Sassy
I'm
is in
sorry,
live
I
chat.
don't.
Sassy's in our chat? Holy shit. Hey, Sassy.
Yep.
Hey, I found your video that talked about... It was... Hold on. I'm going to go find it. I watched your UNIRock... I watched a video of yours on UNIRock too. And you did so damn good. I was so shocked that you only had like 2,000 subs. Because you were so thorough. Let me find it here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. It's this one. Oh, it was the backwards Barbie thing. What the hell? Why does my beard look so weird? Holy shit, my beard looks so different there. What's going on? Why does my beard look lighter now? I don't know. Hold on. I definitely watched the Sassy video in this one. Nope, that's backwards Barbie. Here we go. And of course, impersonated somebody. Let's go back to Barbie's video. Okay, yeah. Oh my god, that video got 1,000 views. Last time I looked at it, it had like 700. Oh my goodness. Okay, people do like watching my uploads. I'm gonna have to upload again. Anyway, here it is. Here it is. I swear that's it. Well, it's good to see you, Sassy. Thanks for stopping by. I really liked your video. But I want to hear what you're talking about here. No shade. I'm shouting you out. I'm not throwing shade, just to make sure. Okay.
I don't think Roadhog's a bad person.
Damn it! I played his name.
I don't. I don't think Ren's a bad guy, but I don't know either of the two guys. And
Well, I think you're wrong about the first conclusion, but it's just a difference in opinion.
And what I've heard, I give AZ props for not backing down, but girl, I gotta tell you, if I was you, I'd bounce. It ain't even worth it. It's not.
I get it, but why is that? Like, why is it not worth it? I think that the reason why people believe it's not worth it is because of the doxing and the harassment. So, again, I have to be boring. Like, I have to sound cringy for a minute, and I'd rather just be funny, argue with Busy for a while making a joke about Lily Singh being really bad comedian, which is a topic we're going to hit in just a minute. And then I'd go and play video games. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to be cringy rock here for a minute. Because the reason why people don't want to give their voice to this is because of the harassment. It's because of the threats of doxing. That it's because when someone does that, I say this way too often, but I don't care. I'm going to say it again. It's to put out an example. So the reason why that specific person, I'll just say his damn name, even though I know he's a troll for attention a lot of the time. Maybe he's rolling that back. I don't know. But Ren, the reason why Ren was doxed and the reason that Ren was targeted like he was is not solely so that Ren can have some kind of like punishment or some type of ill treatment because of something. It was to put out an example. They don't want anyone doing what Ren did. And I don't even know fully what he did, of course. I don't care. I'm not going to dive into it real deep myself. But it's if it didn't affect some content creators, then they wouldn't do it. So there are content creators that don't want to show their face, and they should have that respect to an extent based on what they do. Sometimes you can't help it. You go out in public, you're in the newspaper or something, a public article, you can't help it. But one thing that I would hope most people out there would start considering is what is the intent, right? So let's say they're going to dox Ren's apartment and call there and then call around or whatever it is. Why? What does that do for criticism, for YouTube content? Nothing. All it does is incite the viewership to do the same thing. And then to put out some negative context about the person's actual life, actual personality, their actual life, their actual, day-to-day, that they can try to use to discredit them. Hopefully, they're hoping that in the mind of the viewership, the viewership's not smart enough to separate those things. Because if you're up here giving an opinion, I don't know, let's use Katie Joy, because a lot of people talk about Katie. You're giving an opinion about Katie. So what in the Sam hell does either of their real life have to do with this? Nothing. And it's one of the main reasons why the doxer in this situation doesn't get attention from a lot of creators, because they know that giving attention to that person is basically rewarding them for their doxing. It's basically saying, hey, you know, I know you're out doxing the living fuck out of people. Well, here you go. Here's a cookie. Here's your brownie. Now sit down and stop crying and stop calling people names, you know, and being an internet tough guy. It's just, to me, when you see a community of people, I'm trying to reset this because it locked up. There it goes. Why did it change? It was just a different color. What the hell? What's going on there? To me, when we step back and we're like, we should be judging people on the merit of their commentary. And when people get up there, I call it the days of our live streams drama, where, hold on, oh no, there it goes. It's the people go there and watch because they want to see, oh God, is he going to dox him? Oh God, is he going to call him names? Oh, maybe he's going to drop another N-bomb. That'd be cringy and we could watch that. And it's more Jerry Springer-esque. It's like the back and forth. And those types of creators have no regard for terms of service. They have no understanding of terms of service. They want to try to convince you that something about copyright, they'll try to convince you that if they just say something every 10 seconds, that they're not violating copyright. When you can violate copyright when you say something every 5 seconds. It's all about transformative content. But in the same misunderstanding they have on copyright, they have that weak, unintelligent, kind of ignorant grasp of terms of service on the community guidelines side of it. And why is the community at this point devolving down to where a section of people support the behavior of even Ren, who's been a doxer and a harasser in the same respect as it's basically two doxers fighting right now. Why is that community supporting it at all? Because of the split, because the community split. Now you've got the anti-KJ community, and you've got one side, like AZ, who's willing to go in, apply criticism, fairly across the board, which is, by the way, the literal definition of treating everybody equal. When you don't apply criticism across the board, you're saying some people are literally better than other people. And people will get angry because N-bombs and racist statements were dropped. It's just as hateful to try and hold somebody to a extremely strict standard and to let somebody else completely off of that standard in the same respect. It's just, instead of being hateful in regards to a physical characteristic, you're being hateful in regards to a different characteristic. It's all hate across the board. And again, back to doxing, now you've got a split in the community, AZ and all these other people that are willing to be logical, willing to call it out. Then you've got the doxing side of the equation, where they're sitting here fighting back and forth, creating that live stream drama to get clicks and views and donos and shit. And there's a body of a community that's behind AZ that agrees, like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing this like low-cow bullshit, like doxing and, playing these games with each other. And then you've got the other side of it, where there's a smaller offshoot of the anti-KJ community that broke away and is now supporting the doxing behavior. They're either supporting one side or the other. They're cheering one side on. They like this side better. This side's willing to, be more hateful. And you now see that the anti-KJ community has been this oil and water mixture the whole time. And Katie, growing her channel very big, of course, pulled in more and more and more people. And now you can really get a view for how many of them will accept doxers. And it does explain why it took so long, I think, for that community to step up. And to be even more cringy here. Another major problem with this is that certain people, certain YouTubers won't criticize knowing that there's a potential for them to be cyber stalked. And I don't know why people don't, when they say the word doxing, for some reason they try to separate it from stalking. Doxing is just the digital form of stalking somebody. You're going out, obtaining that information. You're stalking the information. So gaining the information, the private information about somebody, is just as bad as sharing it, because you're still exposing something that you should respect other people to the point where they're allowed to have that. They're allowed to decide. It should be their decision on what they put out there from that standard. And yeah, it is easier to be able, like, you could go out and type in all the things you want, look around, stalk somebody's social media, gain a bunch of shit, put on some cringy ass performance, trying to throw out all their personal details and shit. Anybody can do that without being good at content creation or without being good at giving commentary. And it'll create that Jerry Springer drama that will bring eyes to the table. Yeah, you may only have a small group of people that'll actually support you, and everybody else will hate you. But in their mind, as long as they've got some views there, they can pretend to be a YouTuber for a few more minutes. And in reality, if anyone really gave a shit, that stuff's not going to last, right? People doing what these guys are doing right now, it's not going to last. And half of it, I don't even believe. Due to the behavior of both of them in the past, I don't really even believe. For all we know, these two could just be like agreeing with each other. It's creating this whole drama from the baseline. Because they're both just not trustable. So, you know, what's going to end up happening in this community, since it's just so okay? This isn't the first, second, third. We got EKC doxer, Tina is a doxer, a few lobster people I won't name are doxers. Ren's done it. Ren's the one that went it. Charlotte, right? Because, oh, you messed with one of my friends, I'm gonna stalk you now. I don't know how it's supported to any degree whatsoever, other than scummy people will support scummy people. But at least there's a group of people now calling it out, and I don't understand it. They literally are trying to make an argument out there that it's not against terms of service. You can go to the terms of service and directly read that you can't do what they're doing. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying there, Navy? Like, how in the world do they even make the argument that it's might be okay for terms of service? You get me?
Well, I I don't know, because it doesn't make any sense. And it's this whole idea we've been dealing with them for the longest time, was that, you know, it's okay for them to do stuff because of their, you know, moral high ground and their righteousness, and they're doing it because they're doing it for these, you know, great reasons or whatever. But if someone else does it, then they're like the worst person in the world. You can't use the same tactics and not be considered the same level of cringe or the same level of horrible or breakers of TOS. It is the same thing, exact same thing.
Well, I mean, shit, dude. Last time I checked, the majority, and it's okay, by the way, to call out Katie, but the majority of these people will sit and say, you know, what you could do, you could go back and grab hours of live streams of them sitting there saying, Katie can't do this, and they're screaming at Katie and angry and lolcowed out, like yelling at Katie about how you can't do this, you can't do that, you're a bad person for doing this, you're a horrible person for doing that. But in the last 4 days, there's been, you could just take the clip of them yelling at Katie and them doing exactly what they yelled at her for. Back to back, back to back, back to back. And it could be a video if these people were even slightly, if you could respect them enough to even put a little bit of time into it, it wouldn't be hard to put that together. And, you know, I guess it's harder for us to get it because we come from a side of YouTube where being a hypocrite is something that's laughed at. It's not something that people get in line behind to support. But then again, there is a section of people out there in any group that will, you know, do fucked up shit and support other people doing fucked up shit. So it's kind of just, it's like a little TV screen that you got where every once in a while you take a peek at, you know, the dumpster fire that's burning over there. waiting to see if it gets put out, or if a firefighter has. You got to call the 911 to get the firefighters to come and do it. You get me? Firefighters, of course, being YouTube finally stepping in and banning the fuck out of people that do this. So,
well, and don't get me wrong, there's an aspect of understanding that, you know, drama aspect and some dumpster fires here and there. It's to the level at which they've gone. That is the problem.
Sure.
When, you know, and that is the real issue, because everybody likes a little bit of drama. Otherwise, reality TV wouldn't exist, right? And there's nothing wrong with enjoying that and like arguing with people about their viewpoints on all kinds of stuff. But when it becomes so important that you decide you want to like personally attack people, like go after them. I'm not talking about criticizing them.
Their
I'm talking about
life.
like real
life.
You need to get you go talk to somebody. You need to go, you know, figure this out, because this is not what normal people do.
It's pretty cringy, bro. I mean, like, it's a good little like funny piece of content to giggle at, but damn, man, like, could you imagine? You're a grown adult, you're so upset, you're so affected, you're so angry, you're so traumatized mentally by somebody criticizing you or saying something to you that you don't like, that you go out and spend hours just stalking them down and learning this about them and finding where they are and getting their name and calling their landlord, playing this game. And it's creepy. How is it not creepy? It's creepy AF, isn't it? Am I off point?
Creepy.
Okay,
No,
good. I'm making
it's
sure.
It's super creepy. It's stalky, right? It's the same thing as stalking somebody in real life.
It is,
you know?
yeah. Yeah.
It's the same stuff. And there's no way to justify it based on your disagreements with them on YouTube.
Well,
like,
it's
that
one of
blows
those.
my mind.
It's one of those things where years from now, if somebody wants to, like, say, if they are still around in a couple years, someone's going to go look on YouTube and be like, holy shit, this motherfucker was out doxing people like crazy back in the day. You know, it's just, this is something that's major that maybe they don't realize it right now. Maybe they're just too mad to understand that as time goes on, you're not going to outlive that. You're not going to, it's not something that's going to go away.
Well, what these people need to do is they need to take a second, right? I'm not like
They need to log out.
Professional.
They need to touch
log
some
out for a
grass.
second. They need to go to a mirror, look at themselves in the mirror, and get like eye to eye with them, and be like, I am not a good person.
Well,
Right.
I think they know that. I don't think they care about being. I think these motherfuckers are like. I think we're dealing with the kind of people that literally have that fuck you attitude, where they looked at YouTube and said, there's this community of people that want Katie called out, but nobody is actually threatening her. Nobody's actually calling her a bitch 900 times. Nobody's actually doxing the living fuck out of everybody. And they were like, shit, man, we could probably get some views doing that, turning it up a little bit. And now here we are. And it's amazing, but it says a lot, not about the entire anti-KJ community. Not about all of them, but it says a lot about a few months ago when the anti-KJ community wasn't fractured. I think it explains some of the craziness that we saw in that community, because like now the crazier people, the more obsessive people, the more cringy people have gone, and they're now behind that kind of shit. They're now supporting that dox battle that's going on. But on the other side of it now, you've got people that are like, look, Katie is now completely right. It's like, thank you, cringy peeps. You've made Katie right again. You've made Katie doesn't get, you know, Katie gets sympathy from this now, unfortunately, because of what she just did to Keemstar and stuff like that is still fresh. It's still new.
Mm-hmm.
It's still something that would be an effective criticism against her, something to be brought up when she gets mad, when she's doing this kind of stuff. But when you look at the community that's against her and you notice that they're doxing the living shit out of each other and threatening each other and dropping N-bombs with hard R's and screaming racist stuff constantly, now you are showing that maybe not all the anti-KJ community, but a big portion of it is pro-racism, pro-stalking. So Katie gets to sit there and be like, I told you so now. And every time creators in that community go this far. And man, I hate to fucking be the bearer of bad news, but it's exactly what it used to be now. If we rewind, I don't know, 10 months or something, a year, it was Tina, it was EKC, it was a few others pulling her R report, throwing out pictures of her house. Here we go, fast forward a little bit, and those instances, those smaller, more focused instances have done what I predicted they would do, which is evolve. Once you nurture hate and nurture fucking, prejudice and this kind of like hatred and lying and going real life, and once you take that forward as an approved thing, even in a small community, just like we see with extremist conspiracy communities, how they form, now we've got the anti-KJ, that section of it being there in the same way.
Well, and the problem is with some of these people you're talking about that need to log out and do stuff, go touch grass and stuff, is that I get a sneaking suspicion that one of the reasons why they stay logged in the way they do is because the people that are on the outside that they couldn't interact with can't stand their asses because they are shit people 24/7. And so the way for them to get that out is to stay logged on and go attack people on the internet.
Well, and they're probably making, $500 or $600 a month doing it. And, they've realized one thing that is very predictable. I hate to say I told you so a million times, but is if you go back 6 months, the anti-KJ community unfractured was very healthy. There was a lot of people searching things in the search. There was a lot of people sending a super chat here and there, throwing out a dono here and there, and that it would sustain a pool of smaller creators. And now that thanks to Chrisley filing bogus fucking lawsuits, thanks to other people filing bogus lawsuits, and thanks to nothing really happening, combined with the fact that Katie has walked back the way that she handles the community. She's actually, one big factor of that community's downfall is that Katie isn't out there doing these kind of like Instagrams where she's completely wrong and doxy and all that, and while at the same time she's not spamming Twitter with that kind of content. So it's not that maybe she's not doing it, because she did. She hit Keemstar like it was going out of style, but she's got smaller instances of that happening, and it's not surrounded by her being out there all the time, machine gunning this out. So now that's starved the content, where at the same time, the dip in the trend of attacking her, I believe, has led to what we're seeing, because this would just be normal if we debunked Backyard Brawl. This dude, Screwy Louie, was putting out this conspiracy that was actually being picked up by some news organizations and was getting a lot of attention, and he managed to, within the first day of it going viral, which it did massively, he turned it into a donation scam where he was accepting Walmart cards, gas cards, food cards, stuff like that, so there was untraceable money on a card more than going to someone directly, and made tens of thousands of dollars in a couple days until we debunked it. And right away, he started to get that huge downfall come. And it wasn't, I don't know, a week or two after that, he was resorting to every single shady thing he could do to keep money coming in. I remember he got busted with like 5 pounds of marijuana that he was trying to peddle down at this little camp he made that he stole from someone trying to ship it across the border. And at the same time, when all that got busted out, they tried to, like, as a last-ditch resort, after no more gift cards are coming in and they're barely making any more money, they all get together and start going and robbing solar panels off the top of people's houses down in the desert, and they get arrested and they get taken in and charged, and that was the end of the conspiracy. But that happens even with conspiracies that aren't related to a physical location here on the internet, as much as where I think we have one factor of the anti-KJ community now split off with this other. I think that, we could say that this new offshoot are more of the conspiracy theorists gathering together from the anti-KJ community And the more logical people, the smarter, the more debunker people are the ones that are calling it out now. So it's almost expected, but you don't expect it to be this severe. It's hard to stress it without pulling a bunch of stuff up and clips and showing you guys, but it's bad. There are video clips of just screaming. They're like screaming shit and going just batshit crazy. So it's pretty nutty. Hey, Lauren, good to see you. Hey. I want to know what everybody think is going to happen next. So I'm doing a poll. So get ready. You tell me what is going to happen next. They go RL even harder. That's real life. Hold on. Let me put that in the title because I don't have enough characters down there. RL equals real life. They go RL even harder. They chill and do content. YouTube bans them soon. YouTube bans them later. All right, so here comes your vote. Now, I want to make sure I explain this vote the tiniest bit. So, what is going to happen next with this kind of like doxy back and forth that's going on there? And these are the same people that were trying to dox Charlotte, Waxy, and others. And now they're kind of fighting with each other after their conspiracy, or their community has gone full conspiracy and split apart. What's going to happen next? RL equals real life. They're going to go real life even harder. They're going to chill and do content. YouTube bans them soon, or YouTube bans them later. Give me your vote and let me know what you think in the live chat. The backyard brawl, if you will. That's right. That's right. I am already agreeing with the live chat. The majority of people are choosing real life even harder. I think that's what's going to happen too. It might even lead to a tragedy. I'm going to do another vote right after this one, so just be ready, y'all.
Well, I hope they don't, because this does not need to go real life. There's nothing that has been done or said with any reason for this to go real life. It's just crazy. I can't wrap my mind around it. I just can't.
They're going real life because they got their damn feelings hurt. They're babies. They just can't handle it. They can't respond on YouTube, because if they do, they lose. They're not good at talking. They're not good at thinking. They're not good at giving points and commentary and speaking. The majority of what they do is pulling up other people's tweets or clips and then sitting there and just hitting pause and screaming at the top of their lungs and crying like little babies. That's literally what the content creators do. So, the next poll, since you all voted, 74% said real life even harder. 9% said they're going to chill and do content. 0% said YouTube bans them soon. And 17% said YouTube bans them later. Okay, since the majority of you think they're going to go real life even harder, I want to know what you think is going to happen in this poll. So, RL even harder, what is going to happen? Give me your vote. The first option is going to be you voted for real life even harder. So what is going to happen? RL tragedy, just more doxing and threatening, but I can only put threat. I can't put threatening there. Real life tragedy, just more doxing and threatening. What else could we add in here? They meet up and high five each other. Busy does crack. Now I'm not going to put that last one. All right, here it comes. You know, it sucks if these people that are engaged in targeting, not the ones that are having it happen to them, could actually, you know, discuss these things and be YouTubers about it, you know, resolving things with their voice, which is everything that's happening there is the opposite of resolving it with your voice. Even just threatening, even when they would go as far as just to threaten, they were doing it because they were trying to say, don't respond. You know, if you feel, they wanted people to feel like that they're going to, that if you do respond, then the bad things that they do to other people on their show and shit is going to end up happening to you if you respond. That's one reason why I think Sassy was warning, you know, T-Spiracy from getting involved. But, you know, people that will instill a fear in others, if you really think that that they have either the potential or because they've said it before, they would actually do something to someone because of them covering it, that needs to be reported to YouTube, okay? That's literally what the reporting to YouTube is there for. It's there so, you know, if someone's threatening someone else or if someone's created an atmosphere on the platform where you know, the reason why you can't do this stuff is because when you put something out publicly, AZ is supposed to have a right to be able to respond to it because you put it out publicly. That the same right that gives them to put out what they put out, AZ should be able to put out what she puts out without feeling like she's going to be doxxed, threatened, harassed, or have something happen in real life. So you can't just say, well, I deserve to sit up here and talk about what I want to talk about, but people can't choose me or I'm going to do these things to them. And that's why terms of service exists to help protect YouTubers. The terms of service is there so that we can get up here and talk about things. You start violating it, breaking it apart, and just not caring, and that's when, you know, you're basically trying to give yourself an advantage. The advantage is nobody gets to criticize me because I'll do all this stuff, but they get to criticize whoever they want. So they've got the upper hand, right? Now here's the irony. While doing that, while they're giving themselves the upper hand, they are in the realm of they're existing in the space of criticism. You know, that's the backbone of what they're doing. They think they should be able to take what you do and apply their opinion and make it a transformative content with their opinion and criticize it and discuss it and give their take, which for some reason, they think if you're going to do that to them now, you get targeted and harassed and doxxed, right? It's just a control thing. You see this from bullies. You see this. It's what it is. It's bullying. Is there any other way to say it other than bullying, Navy? I think it's just pure bullying,
No,
really.
because what happens is whenever they get called out on their crap, right, and they have no way to respond to it, and we've seen this happen. I mean, how many times over the last couple years that I've been hanging out with you and stuff. The moment they can't respond to something is the moment that they try to go and do this because they know if this person who is bringing forth this evidence to attack them, attack their credit and your character and all that kind of stuff keeps going, they're going to lose. So their only recourse is to threaten them. And that's exactly what this is. The doxing, everything is a threat. You know, that if you don't stop saying all this truth about me, I'm going to come at you personally. And it is the cry of someone who has no evidence, who knows that they are wrong, knows that they screwed up, and refuses to apologize for whatever reason, be it narcissism, they're just, empowered by YouTube or whatever. And that's where this comes from. And unfortunately, it's a very serious thing. It's a very serious threat. It's a very serious aspect of stalking that they're doing. And
how do we get that through? How do we get that through to them? They've called that out on Katie. They've sat there and said, Katie doing this, talking about her doing the exact same thing, looking up private information on someone, throwing it out there, getting a pushback for it, then, trying to act like it didn't happen. And then they pull that in as content and say, that's fucked up, Katie. You shouldn't do that to people. And because you do that to people, we are going to sit here now and discuss how you shouldn't do that. But they say that they should discuss her not doing that 24/17, right? It's not that she does something new. It's not that there is an update. It's not that there's a new situation or some new issue that happened where they go up and update things and keep people informed. It's that it's a constant saying the same thing over and over again, whatever. If you feel that's your content, fine. I just think it's kind of hypocritical. I think that's what Katie does to the Duggars a lot of times.
Well,
but, well, real quick, the thing is there, though, why is it then Katie can't take, and I don't know why she doesn't jump on this, because someone who's done nothing but attack at her for a year, not criticize her, attack at her, now, in a valid way now, she could come out and say, look, these motherfuckers who sit and come at me all the time are doxing each other and threatening each other. And she'd be right to do that.
Well, that's when you realize that that's when you realize the true reason why they're doing it, right? It has nothing to do with calling anyone out over any wrongdoing that they're actually doing. They're not taking a moral stance and being like, I'm against this person because they do these horrible things. Once they start doing the same thing themselves is the moment you realize they're just attacking somebody to attack somebody, be it for views or whatever. It has nothing to do with actually trying to correct someone's behavior, right? Or criticize somebody. It's just about them getting out there and being able to yell and scream into the void because they want people to watch them because they get no attention in real life. I mean, there's countless things, but you realize that it never was about, you know, oh, I think she's doing something wrong, so I'm going to, you know,
exactly
criticize her.
Exactly. What, you know, once they hit that point of hypocrisy, how do they then validate what they do? Right? Just like you said, if the reason they get to call her out like they do is because what she's doing is wrong and people shouldn't do it. Now, instead of like what they should, if they were being honest, they would say, everybody should be calling me out just like I've done to Katie. Though instead of that happening, we see them threaten and dox and attack. Okay, so I went live early and we've been going for a couple hours now. We hit the 2-hour mark right on the dot, and that's why I'm going to restart the stream. I'm going to go down for about like an hour or something because I want to go get some Red Bull, go to the store, do all that stuff because I am Red Bull-less, and you know I can't do this, Red Bull-less. So I'm only going to be offline for maybe an hour, hour and 20 minutes. So I'm going to schedule the next stream. I'm not going to go offline right away. I'm going to be online for another 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm preparing you so I don't clickbait you out. I don't want you guys to think I'm going to be chilling for a long time right now. So what we're going to do is just take like part 1 and done. And then we're going to come in with part 2 and when I restart the stream. Now, part 2, we're going to do what I promised we would do. Now that, I'm not going to tell you, we're not going to talk about this situation at all when we come back because I have no clue what's gone on in the last 3.5 hours. I don't know what happened from right before I started the stream until right now. So it's about 3 hours. But, so if there's a really big development or something real crazy happens, we're probably going to talk about it when we come back. And we might go into a couple, you know what I want to do? I kind of want to go around the anti-KJ community. The old school anti-KJ community, you know, all that stuff that used to happen and react to some videos. I want to do a search in the algorithm, see what pops up. Take a listen to people. That's how I found Sassy. And I really like Sassy's way of... I think Sassy's going to have a pretty damn good channel after a bit. Because she's got the talent to be able to put together a commentary video. And right now, you'll see a lot of people that can go live and just, you know, do that side of it. Then you have people that can go live and they're real good. And then you got people that upload. And then you got people that can upload really well put together videos. And I stand by what I said about Sassy's video on UNIRock too. It's really good stuff. So I hope to see that, but we're going to do that a little more. I want to react to some videos that are out there. Hopefully Navy will be here when we get back. Maybe Menace, maybe some other peeps will jump in, but we're also going to take a look at this as long as it doesn't get me a copyright strike. It shouldn't because I'm going to be fair using it. I want you to hear what Lily Singh, I want you to hear the jokes she did, because I don't know if you know who Lily Singh is. She's a YouTuber who now has like a Netflix and all that, and as a comedian and a late night host and all this, and she is just god awful. This is bad. It's new. It's from 3 days ago, and it's bad. Then we got a little bit of stuff to talk about when it comes to the Tiger King and Tiger King 2. And if you have not watched Tiger King 2, you are missing out. It's good. It's really, really, really good. I was shocked at how good it is. Tiger King 1 is superb. Tiger King 2 is either just as good or maybe a little bit better. And that's really hard to do. Most TV shows like Tiger King completely shit the bed when they do season 2 or 3. I don't know how Tiger King did it, but they did it. But before we even do anything else, massive condolences. You guys know I was lucky enough, me, little old UNIRock, I was lucky enough to interview some of the stars of Tiger King. I didn't get to talk to Eric, but I did get to talk to some of the peeps that were on Tiger King. You can still see the interview on UNIRock too. It's a good video. It's a good interview. And Eric Cowie, I think that's how you say his name, passed away recently. And it really, really sucks. He passed away from extended alcohol abuse. So he was fighting his demons, you know what I'm saying? He was doing his thing, and he unfortunately succumbed to his addiction. So, you know, this is why I don't like it when people make fun of other people for... I don't care if you make jokes. People seem not to get my commentary sometimes. Making fun of somebody, like from maybe throwing out a couple jokes here or there, and if a person acts... Like if somebody gets real drunk and you make fun of them by like mimicking them, I don't think you're doing anything wrong if you're trying to be funny. But when you're trying to shit on somebody or put somebody down or target somebody or whatever because of that quality, especially when you yourself have to be a crackhead to act like you do, it's pretty messed up. Oh, shit. Oh, I thought I spilled my cup. It wasn't my cup. It was my vape. Good. I only spilled my vape. So anyway, we're going to talk about this when we get back, so I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but there's some other stuff to talk about when it comes to Tiger King 2, because if you didn't know this, at the end of Tiger King 2, Joe Exotic, you know how he wanted to be pardoned, right? That didn't happen. But it shows what was going on with the pardoning in Tiger King 2 at the end. And I'm about to spoil Tiger King 2, so you might want to cover your ears if you haven't seen it. At the end of Tiger King, they get every single person who put Joe Exotic behind bars, every single one of them who has responsible for him being behind bars, signed affidavits that it was a lie. Then, a shocker, a complete shocker at the very end. Because the main guy, the dude who supposedly got paid to go and do what he said that Joe was going to do to Carol Baskins, comes out and admits it wasn't a plot to kill Carol Baskins. That's not what it was. He says that it was a plot to kill Joe Exotic. Now, he didn't just say it, because then he said he had proof. Have you seen Tiger King 2? Because you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. I haven't heard that anon. And remember, if you guys want me to look at something, get it together. And when I get back, tag me on Twitter, tag Menace or Navy or whoever on Twitter, and get into topics you want me to talk about. He said he had a bit of proof that could prove that Joe Exotic was framed. And it was that they had cooked up a plot to put a piece of like razor wire, not really razor, really like really strong steel wire, really thin, strong steel wire, right where they knew Joe Exotic rode his four-wheeler really fast. There was this little road that only Joe would ride his four-wheeler on, and he'd fly down it. They had a piece of wire they had went and put out in the woods, and they were going to hang it right across where Joe rides, right at this perfect spot to where if he was sitting down like this, it would chop his head off, and if he was standing up going really fast, it would hit him in the chest and then come up and chop his head off. And they planned on killing him. So the lawyer took the murderer, the guy for hire, down to the old Joe Exotic farm, took him out in the woods where they had cooked up the plot to murder Joe, and that wire was right where he said it would be. It was this giant, like, spool of wire. It should have never been there, and it was right in the woods where Joe rode his four-wheeler every day. So what they said was, what they're trying to say is that, and they didn't just get one dude or two dudes or three dudes to admit this. They got all of them. They even got the low guy, the dude with the girlfriend who's always banging all these girls. They even got him to file an affidavit. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is part 2 ends literally showing that if they can get back into court, they might be able to get Joe exonerated. And he might be able to get time served, because some of the animal abuse charges he had without the murder charge or the murder for hire charge, he might get out of jail if they get him exonerated. It's just that that's what they're hinting at they're doing. They have a lawyer. They got it all together. They've all filed affidavits. And at the end of season 2, they're turning it in. It's crazy. So we've got a couple other things to talk about also. Navy, I don't have to rush out of here. I just need, one of my friends is going to run me up, do a couple things, run me up to a store. And I'm just going to be chilling for the next like 10, 15 minutes. We're going to pull up the live chat. I'm going to talk to you guys until I leave. So yeah, you got time to chill for 10, 20 minutes, Navy? You busy or are you chilling with us?
Yeah, I can chill for a little bit. Yeah, it'd be good.
Okay, well, I'm going to do a quick segue. I'm only going to mute for a minute. We'll be right back with you, Navy. And I'm going to do a segue in. I'm going to grab the live chat, put it up on the screen. And we're just going to talk to you. So tag me. Tell me what you think about everything that's going on. What have you seen out there? Do you want us to react to something that's going on? Whatever the hell you got for me, make sure you type it in the chat. I got the chat right now. And let's go. We are going to end this stream out. We're going to restart it and start part 2, the late night stream, when we get back. So let's do that right now. Okay, one other thing I want to do too is show you this really quick. Just really quick, a little itty bitty thingy about Joe Exotic before we move on. Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I got it up here. Joe Exotic innocent. Okay, so there's news even up until 2 days ago about this. There are people out there saying things like this. Is Joe innocent? There are problems with the case against Joe. Serious ones that call the convictions into question. It is not clear that he ever abused animals or killed them. And killing an animal is not always abusive. Unfortunately, just because it's an act is gruesome, it doesn't make it unethical, blah, 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 blah. Though, one thing, I'm not going to go into all of this for you and read everything to you, but the other part I wanted to show you was he also is being said to be not innocent by several people, and they've got some arguments that I really didn't put much credence into. I just think it's going to be something cool to talk about eventually. That's all. So, oh, wait a minute. Kitty just said something. Let's start with Kitty here. Kitty says, I agree. Keem is a prick, easy to go after, no need to dox, just point out his asshole actions. Well, and that's the thing, like, Keemstar's known for being abrasive. So, you know, if you've ever watched Keem for a long period of time, he is a troll. You know, he started as a Call of Duty troll, and then he had this idea, you know what I should do? I should do a Keemstar documentary, because I followed him for a really long time with iDubbbz and Filthy Frank and all the peeps, you know. Yes, I agree, Vagabond Mike. I agree. Joe did abuse animals. I agree he did. Very much so. I'll give a full breakdown of that too in one of my uploads. I've been taking a while to get this Joe Exotic stuff done. But yeah, Joe did abuse animals. It's pretty obvious. I think anybody who runs a private zoo, unless they are very I think transparent, they probably do that. It's a money-making machine for them, and it just sucks. You know, I like big cats. You know, I'm a cat lover myself. So I have a big cat here at the house named Gus Gus. He's, in fact, my boss. He bosses me around every day. So, I mean, I get it, but I don't think what happened to him was right. I think he lost everything he had. He's paid like a hella price. And that whole murder for hire thing, I don't think it should be pinned on him. I don't think he should have to deal with that. Man, wouldn't it be crazy what is he going to do if he ever gets, you know what he's going to do? If Joe Exotic ever gets out of jail, he's going to be on TV. You know what I'm saying, Navy? There would definitely be a TV show with that motherfucker on it. It's just a damn guarantee. So what do you guys think about the big docs battle that's going on out there? Hook me up with your opinions on the big docs battle of 2021. I think all of the owners of the show abused them. Carol is suspect. Oh, she is, Vagabond Mike. Yeah. She's very suspect. She's an evil streak. You ever see that look in Carol Baskin's eyes? You ever see that shit? It'll freak you out, man. It'll make you feel a little freaky. It'll make you a little freaky. Hey, Night Jolson, man. You know, I would love to go a little deeper into the drama that's going on out there, you know? I'd love to play some clips. You know, I might go ahead and do a documentary. The lowliest group of lolcows since Darkside Phil. I don't know. Darkside Phil's still out there doing some crazy shit, man. Are you going to cover the Squid Game issue going on in North Korea? Yeah, kind of. I thought I might talk about it on a live stream, but I don't know if I'm going to upload on it because it's kind of one of those real... You know what? I'll talk about it real quick. Where in North Korea, anyone that pirates Squid Game or Western media is being punished very severely. I'm talking, they had a dude that was selling Squid Game DVDs, and they put him on the firing squad. No joke. Like it's bad. Lauren says, I'm glad she's taking it down, leaving it up just to piss people off. Wasn't a good look. I called her a ghoul for that video. As long as it's up, I stand by that. It's ghoulish. What are we talking about there? Talking about, I think I know what you're talking about. Hold on, I'm getting close. Are you guys talking about... Tell me what video you're talking about. No doxing, even making the thread. Everybody knows what I've done. I can't take it back and lesson learned. Tweeting in motion is no good. Well, August, you know, you didn't dox, though. You get me? You know, look, I don't even hold some of them as... I don't try to hold that kind of thing over someone's head forever. That's one thing that a lot of people get wrong. People think that because we'll bring up things like Steve doxing me and stuff like that, that I hold on to those things forever. I don't. When somebody, like, doesn't do that stuff anymore, and when somebody, you know, when somebody doesn't do that kind of thing anymore, and they've learned their lesson, or if they apologize, or if they know what they did was, like, they shouldn't have said something, of course I can let things go in that to that effect. In fact, that's what I'd like to have happen with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I'd like to see them apologize. I'd like to see them apologize. I didn't even get to say this. Navy, maybe you can help me with this too. I think that, like, looking at what they did to Menace by repeating this lie, and this is an example, this goes along with what we're saying. They repeated a lie that Menace sold drugs to kids. They knew it was a lie. They did it to troll him, and then after they repeated it for a few months, they start saying that Menace said it, right? Because that's just what they do. If they would have today, after being called out by all those people, because they got called out a lot, if they would have turned around and said, listen, we're sorry, we shouldn't have said selling drugs to kids. We aren't going to do it again. We're going to retract what we said. That would be a completely different story. That would be something that I think would, you know, let me see here. At everyone, did anyone apologize to Menace yet? And I mean, like, you just would expect that they might correct themselves. Like, they don't even have to apologize to him, because I know that, damn it. What I'm saying is, even if they just corrected what they said, I don't mean they'd have to actually say I'm sorry, as long as they could just correct what they said, you know? I hope Webby was here. I hope Webby was here, because I haven't read in a few days. BCP puts this butt dog up, and he sneakily drops a butt dog bomb on me every once in a while, and it makes me every time I see it. If I'm live, you actually get to hear it. So when BCP does it, like, me and Rachel will be sitting there chilling, and I'll look at my phone, and I'll go, "Ree!" And she'll go, "Butt dog." Because I I don't just I actually You know what I'm saying? Rachel will be like, "Yep, that's a butt dog." Or Rachel will be in the other room, and she'll just hear, "Ree!" Yep, that's a butt dog. CJ says, I see dead people. Yes, when I go crazy, I see butt dogs. I see butt dogs. I mean, it's pretty cute. It's a cute little butt dog. But look at the way it shakes its ass. Look at what it's doing. You know what you're doing, butt dog. You know what you're doing. You got a really good bend going on, don't you? You're not just standing like this, butt dog. Oh, you're standing like this, butt dog. Oh, you want to throw that little ass out there, don't you? You know what you're doing, butt dog. Sorry, I get a little upset when I see the butt dog. Get a little bit of... I get a little SJW. That's the only thing that makes me SJW is the butt dog. Can somebody put butt dog right here, please? Butt dog. Butt dog. Oh my God, we should turn it into a twerking Snoopy. Oh my heavens. No, we should get it busy. We should get a butt busy. Would you do a butt busy for me? You'll model it so that I could draw it out and put it up as a butt busy? I don't have $40. You're really going to make me wait until I've got $40 until I can get a butt busy? Fine, fine. When I get paid this month, you're giving me a butt busy. Why can't I call it a butt busy? Ew! That's what a butt busy is? Okay, fine. We'll call it something else, because that's gross, busy. I went looking for that vid. It seems to be gone as usual. Wait a minute. That's another thing, too. Wonder why they keep deleting them's vids. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I thought that when KJ deleted vids, it meant that she doing something messed up. Why do they get to delete vids, but KJ can't delete vids? You know what I'm saying? Hold up. I'm looking at T-Spiracy's Twitter. Oh, shit, son. Turn it on, busy. Turn on the screen. I applaud T-Spiracy and... Oh, really? Really? So you think you gonna step it up, huh? Well, I'm gonna be watching, Little Red, y'all. I'm gonna be watching. So let's see how you step it up. Let's see if you step it up. Taking a stance and denouncing these vile behaviors and attitudes. Charlotte announced she was sticking her head back in the sand yesterday. No amount of fragmentation can explain how any of this is okay. It was vile when it happened to Shin also. And I'm just being silly towards Little Red. Little Red and I don't like each other for many reasons, and I won't even bring them up. Just being nice, I won't bring them up. I will, though. I am not like those who I criticize, and if she does call that shit out, and apply the criticism across the board, then I'm not going to continue any type of thing. You get me? One thing I think most people end up finding out about me is that I give people too many chances, because in my mind, we all make mistakes constantly, and you know, that's just life. That's just how things work. So, you know, uh-oh. Oh, shit. I should have stopped streaming a good 5 minutes ago. So, guys, I'm outie. I got to go get some Red Bulls and some vape, and then an extra 5 Red Bulls and an extra 3 vapes, because I really want to piss off a bunch of boomers that don't like it when I get Red Bulls and vape. So I'm going to go to the store. We're going to restart the stream. I'm probably only going to be gone like an hour, but I'm only going to be at the store. Oh, shit. Which button is it? I'm only going to be at the store for like 20 minutes. I'm going to spend probably a good 30 to 45 minutes prepping the next stream, just so that I got stuff pulled up for a little bit. So hang in. Am I still damn muted? Navy? Fuck, dude. I'm sorry. I forgot to unmute, bro. I'm a fucking asshole. I just went and looked at the vid, seeing it's not there, and we were talking about, we're talking about Nat. Okay. But yeah, you notice all across the board they're doing that. I gotta go though, because my ride's waiting on me. So I never do this when I stream, but anyway, I'm gonna go grab some Red Bulls and I'll be back. Do you want to support me? Hit the like button or the dislike button. If you hate me, hit the dislike. If you like me, hit the like. Subscribe to this channel, ring the bell, re-ring the bell. Make sure it's rung, because for some reason YouTube's jacked like that, and on UNIRock too. And hopefully you're going to come back here in about an hour or so, because the only reason I'm taking a break in between the streams is because I started early today, and so I didn't have time to go to the store. So I'm going to go hit the store real quick, prep you guys some other stuff. When I come back, we're going to pick up where we left off, and we'll eventually, at the end of the night, later tonight, probably play some video games with some of our friends. Tonight, we're doing 2 video games. We're doing Halo Infinite for just a little bit, and Tarkov. You ever play Halo, Navy?
I played Halo back when it first came out, a long time ago. You should
Halo
take a
is
look
free.
in general before you leave.
Uh-oh. I've got it up on my screen. If I talk about it now, I will re-out. And so I'm going to wait until I get back. Why is he such a dick? Why is he such a dick? I know, and I've got it pulled up. I just don't want to. I don't want to ruin the surprise. I'll be right back. See you guys soon. Navy, I'll be back in a minute, man. I'm gonna mute out, but I'll be right back. All right, y'all.